Hello everyone, welcome back to DIY Beauty on Purpose. Today I am doing 3 Dollar Tree DIYs and I'm starting here with this placemat and two of these, well I thought I was going to use two, but I ended up using just one of the flower basket chains. So I'm starting by cutting some of the words off of the placemat and I'm cutting the edges to make sure they're nice and straight and a little smaller. I want these to be a little thinner. So I'm going to cut all three to the size that I need. I then took scrap pieces of wood that I had in the garage and I cut them using my miter saw to fit each of those words that I had cut. And I'm sanding them down just lightly to make sure that no splinters are out and that it is nice and smooth, getting it ready to paint. After I dusted them off, I am now using Behr Premium Paint, and this is the Mossy Bench. It is a beautiful, beautiful color. I used this color to paint my daughter's vanity desk, and it was just beautiful. It has like a teal color, but it has like a grayish undertone to it. It's just beautiful. So I ended up just doing one coat. It is their premium line, so it has really good coverage. And the wood was also raw wood, so I only had to do one coat, and I did that on all the corners. I mean, all the edges and the top. Alright, so now while the wood dries, I am going to take one of the basket chains or flower basket chains, and I'm going to remove the loop from the top and the hooks from the three ends there. After I did that, I'm going to take each chain and they're going to serve me as my little hanging chain there. Now I'm going to undo a little bit of that end one because I need them to have the thinner portion of that loop. And then I'm going to use my needle nose pliers to bend them. I need them to be flat, so I'm just going to twist them a little bit so that they are as flat as I can get them, so that I am going to be screwing them to the wood using screws. So I want to make sure that they're a little flat so that it screws. Now this part here was a little trial and error. I'm just trying to figure out. I should have used a little thicker screws, but I was afraid that the wood was going to crack, so I kept the thinner screws. However, as you're going to see here, I looped the loop there to tighten it, and it was just too big. The loop was too big, the screw was too small. So I ended up having to take it on or off again, and what I ended up doing was I used the needle nose pliers once again, and then I tightened the loop. So I made it thinner, and then after a couple tries, I was able to figure it out, and I screwed them tightly to the boards. And then I repeated everything again on the other two boards. And of course, because I had already figured out what to do with the first one, it was a little easier and a little faster to do the other two. And so once I had all three boards ready, I am now going to place them to the appropriate size. And I'm going to hot glue them using 4 little globs of hot glue on the back. Now, I will say that I ended up using brad nails to secure it even more. I don't have a clip on that. The hot glue was sufficient, so if you do not have a brad nailer, it's fine. It was fine. But I will be giving these to my mom as a gift, so I want to make sure that they were nice and secure. And since I did have the brad nailer, I did nail 1 nail on each corner of the sign. And there's how it turned out. I think they came out so cute. And can you believe it was literally $1 for the placemat, $1 for the chains, and the wood I already had. It was just pieces of scrap wood from another project. So really happy the way it turned out. Alright guys, so for my second project, I'm going to be using these small flower pots from the Dollar Tree. They come 3 in a pack for just $1. And I'm just going to give it a new paint job. So I'm just going to paint them white with Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. At first, I thought I was just going to paint them normally and then do a second coat with a texture technique, which is really just dabbing the paint. And in the middle of this first coat, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna dab and do a texture technique on all the coats. So that's what I started doing here. So basically what I want these little pots to have is a rougher texture to kind of mimic a little bit of maybe a ceramic or concrete pots, if that makes sense. So I'm just grabbing paint with the chippy paintbrush and I'm just painting them, dabbing instead of brushing. And I did 2 coats on each, and I also did the inner rim of the pots. Alright, so I want you to see there closely what that texture looks like. The camera really doesn't do it justice, but it does has a beautiful texture to it. So I want to write some words on each pot, and I thought about maybe doing like a vinyl, but then I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep it simple because not everybody has like a Cricut that they can cut words with. So I'm using a permanent marker from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to freehand some words. Now I was a little nervous because obviously this is permanent marker and I had already painted them, so I wanted to make sure I didn't mess it up. But I'm going to write the words plant on one, sun on the other one, and then grow on the third one. Alright, so now I am taking floral foam from the Dollar Tree as well. This comes like in a larger block, and I was cutting pieces, and then I ended up just keep cutting it because I just wanted something small enough to just fit on the bottom. And then I'm going to add some boxwood to, these are some florals. Now, the florals are not from the Dollar Tree. I already had these, so I did not have to buy them, but the Dollar Tree does carry a similar floral to this that I have used actually in a home sign that I did several weeks ago. So you can certainly buy those and use that. So that is how it turned out. I'm very pleased. I have a project that I need to still do, that I'm going to place these little pots in them. But for now, I just think they look super cute, and I'm very, very pleased that it literally cost me $1 for the pots. Alright guys, so for my third and final project, I am using Dollar Tree wood stems. They come in these little mesh bags, and what I'm going to do with them, I'm just going to separate them. At first I thought, well, maybe I can measure them, but kind of eye them out and separate them appropriately, and I was like, nope. That's gonna take too long. So basically I'm just going to separate them, just eyeing out quantities, just separating into 3 different little bundles. And I'm going to be using 3 different color paints, and I'm going to kind of just do 1 coat of each paint. And I'm starting with Behr chalk paint. This is their pale sepia. It's a very beautiful beige. I just recently did a cabinet with it, and it was beautiful. So I'm just going to paint them. It doesn't have to be, I'm not looking for perfection. I am just painting them with a brush. Now, I saw something similar at Home Goods, and I wish I had a picture of it, but I don't. But it was a garland with driftwood that was painted, and so that's kind of what I want to make here, but obviously just using Dollar Tree wood stems to keep it inexpensive. Now, the second color I'm using, it's the Aged Gray by Rust-Oleum chalked paint, and the third one is the Linen White by Rust-Oleum chalked paint. So once they were dry, I picked a drill bit and put it on my drill, and I'm just going to drill some holes on each of the wood stems. I'm going to do a hole that goes all the way through. So you can see there, it goes all the way through. Now I picked a drill bit that was thin enough for the little stems, so the thinner stems, not to break or crack on me, but also thick enough where I can fit some jute twine through it. And I did that on all of them. So once I was done with that, I grabbed a long piece of jute twine, and then I used one of those thicker needles. I think it's for embroidery, maybe. I have a little packet of them, and so I picked one that I thought would, or that I measured, that fit through the little hole. And then what I did on one end of the jute twine is I made a loop knot, and then on the other end I threaded the jute twine through the needle, and now I'm just going to thread the wood pieces alternating in color. Now, I will say, I should have picked different colors. Once they were all together, I feel like you couldn't tell the difference in the color. So if I would have done it different, I would have done a couple things different. I would have purchased another bag of wood stems and made the garland longer. I would have painted, still want some of them white and maybe the light beige, but maybe the gray, I wish I would have picked a darker gray, which I had. I just ended up choosing the lighter one. And then maybe left some natural wood color ones in between there. I think that will have looked cute. So once I was done threading them, I made another loop and knotted it on the other end and cut the excess jute twine. And that was it. How simple is this project? Now, yes, you would need a drill, but if you have drill and drill bits, you can certainly do this as well. Look how cute this looks. Yes, the color kind of meshed together. They all look like the same color, but overall, I'm very, very pleased. So this is it, guys. I'm so excited how these projects turned out. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, as always, I invite you to do so. Have a blessed day.